welcome to the channel. Today I am unboxing a Neo 2. Okay, so it's they've just been released in Australia. So if you're thinking about buying it, if you watch till the end of the video, you'll know exactly what's in this box, which is the Motion Fly More combo. But the drone itself will give you an idea, and I'll go through some of those things. The drone itself will be the same no matter which combo you get. I'll point out some minor things. I'll show you what's included in this combo. I'll give you some quick first impressions, and it should give you an idea of what you want to do with your money. So as you can see, this hasn't been opened. I've only just slid my invoice and whatever inside, so we'll take off the security seal and we'll start getting into it. I'll just move that's my invoice. Okay, so first thing out of the box is the drone itself. I'll just set these aside and then I'll go through them one by one. I don't know how they've set this box up. As you saw, it's never been opened. I haven't seen inside one of these prior. I'll also say that this wasn't given to me. I bought this with my own money, so even if it wasn't, I'd still be giving you the same review. I think I'll just get all these things out, sit them aside, and then we'll go through them so the box is out of the way. Okay, that's empty, that one. I think this is the end of the box. Excuse me for that. I think so. Okay, so we've got the drone. Let me get the plastic off these. Okay, so drone. This will be the motion controller, which obviously it is. A hand strap. I'll get the goggles out. I'll go over this separately, but these are different to the other goggles. So they are bigger. I believe that, well, there's two straps on the side. So I did try these in the store and they felt quite comfortable. And the screen was quite easy to see, even with glasses. I wear glasses. So you've got adjustments on the side here, and you've also got an adjustment at the back to tighten and loosen the whole thing. So I can't really give you a review about that, but that's the goggles, so you get them. I'll set that there. So let's have a look. So USB-C cable, pretty much get one of those and everything. Looks like you get two propellers, and I can see two tiny screws, so the propellers still screw on. There is a screwdriver in the kit, some decals, stickers, and some other information. You know, there'll be basic instructions, setting up instructions. I'm not going to open that. I think that'll be self-explanatory. You'll get one of these in your pack as well, whatever pack that is. Okay, charging hub. Charging hub with two batteries. The drone itself already has a battery on it. Let me put these over the side. Don't think we really need a lot of this. So the drone comes with one battery. I don't know how much power that'll have. I'll check that out in a minute. So you can charge these, and I believe that this hub charges the three batteries in parallel. So it's no longer charging one, then moving on to the next one, etc. I believe it'll do them all together. Whatever time it takes to charge one is what time it takes to charge three now. So that's a big improvement in itself. I'll just touch on something here, something that I know about. Okay, with the drone, because this is not one that's been bought by itself, or let me say it this way, if you buy the drone, just the drone by itself, you will get one battery and you will not get this. This is a transmitter or a transceiver. That is screwed on, but you won't have that if you just buy the drone by itself. This is to pair with the goggles and to pair with a large full-size controller. On the Neo, the original Neo, this was all inside, so you didn't need anything extra. You could fly it autonomously, you could fly it with a controller, or you could use your phone and imagine goggles. I never tried the goggles, but you could have done all of that on the original Neo. With this new one, if you just buy the drone by itself, you can fly it autonomously. I believe you'll be able to fly it with your phone wirelessly, but you won't be able to fly it with goggles or a controller until you add this. So yeah, and obviously in this combo, probably in any combo that comes with a controller or goggles, it's probably going to come attached to the drone already, so you don't have to go screwing it in yourself. Otherwise, yeah, you'll just have the drone, and if you wanted to use it with a controller, you're going to have to buy this separately. So I wasn't quite sure how big that would be. Let me try and give you an idea. Well, the propellers are slightly different to the original Neo, so they're slightly larger, but not by much. But you can see it's nowhere near the size of the propeller, so it's smaller than that. I would call it, let's say 1/2 inch by inch, something like that, and it's over 1/4 of an inch thick, maybe 10 millimeters, something like that. But it's not huge. So, but overall, I can tell this is a bigger drone. I do have a case that I used to keep my other one in, and it used to fit nice and snug. I can see that this one is not going to fit, and especially with this, I don't know how I'm going to go traveling, because part of the reason I like the other one is I could just sit it flat on the top of my camera bag and nothing would get damaged. There was nothing sticking up or out. With this one, we've got this sticking out and these little aerials, which seem flexible, but I don't know how they'll go if they're getting bent all the time. Anyway, time will tell. Seeing I'm talking about this part of the drone, let's go over it a bit more. We'll see if it's got enough power to turn it on. So all DJI, press and release, then press and hold. Okay, so that's initializing. The gimbal's doing what it's supposed to do inside there. But something new on here is, okay, so we've now got a screen. The original Neo doesn't have a screen. How long will that screen work? Don't know. Don't fly it in or something that's too hard, I imagine. It's telling me now that it's unactivated. Now this side, that's not a screen. That's actually part of the LiDAR system. So the original drone had no obstacle avoidance whatsoever. This one now has LiDAR sensor towards the front. It's got obstacle avoidance there at the rear and one on the bottom rear as well. So this will avoid obstacles now. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't tell you myself how well it avoids them, but that's one of the changes. Another change which I read about before I purchased it, the original Neo is a very good drone. I don't have much bad to say about it, but one thing that I can tell you, when I used to fly it autonomously quite often, that was part of the appeal, that I didn't need to get out a controller or my phone or anything else to fly it. But let's say you could change on the top the mode. So you had a bunch of modes by pressing a button at the front. And quite often I would use the follow mode, but whatever mode you were using, let's just imagine, we'll talk about the follow mode. So you would press and hold on follow, and whatever was set in the drone originally, so if you had follow, far and high set, that's what you had. and there was no way to change that. Whereas now, on this, I believe, I'm not going to play around with them. I have read that now you can change all the modes and it will indicate it on the screen here. So you can go, let's say you go into follow mode, you can then say far, near, high, low or level, whatever the mode is, you can cycle through those modes on here. Also, the other one was a little bit quirky because it wasn't too bad, but the button to take off, it was all on the top, so you used to press and hold the button on the top. Of course, the drone wants to take off this way, but it was all right because it wouldn't take off for like 3 or 4 seconds. It would tell you what it was going to do. Whereas this one, you can pretty much do everything from one hand, and it's underneath, so your hand never needs to come over the top. That's what I believe. It's not from my knowledge yet. Like I said, I haven't used it as yet. I think that's some of the biggest things. It looks like the propeller guards are pretty similar. I notice that it's got some bump stops here. I don't know if it's going to... Yeah. So you can see next to my finger, it's a decent size. Now that is... If I take this off, the camera's behind there, but it's a fair bit in front of the camera. So I guess most of the time, if you fly into something, you're probably going to bump these first rather than the camera. But if you're flying into, or where there's trees of this diameter, you can still hit that. But the obstacle avoidance should be able to pick up things of that size. I guess if you did crash this, or it does hit something and it's tumbling, it's going to hit these corners before, rather than hitting the camera, that's a pretty good idea. I would trust that their engineers have done their homework. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a useless thing. They've put it on there for a reason. Obviously, they don't want to be getting flooded with repairs for things that can be avoided by, a couple of cents of extra plastic on top of some propeller guards. But I believe you can take these off. Now, I don't know whether that looks like that's part of the propeller guard. So if you take the propeller guards off to get more performance, then you lose this. So I don't see any need to take the propeller guards off myself. If you do get near some leaves or some foliage or something, these are going to help prevent larger pieces getting to the propellers. So I think that's probably pretty much all I can say. You've got a USB-C port here. You can probably charge, I would say you can charge this battery while it's in here, and you can also get your data off the drone. Now, the original Neo 1, also you could record sound with your mobile phone, and I believe this is the same, and it will remove the propeller noise, which is quite good. I haven't tried it yet. On the original Neo, sometimes the sound would be a little bit out of sync, but unless you're using it for vlogging, recording yourself, it's probably not a big deal. You may be able to remove the sound if you use an external mic, but that's going to be a lot more work than using the phone and just recording it. So anyway, I'll come back to all those things later after I had time to use this properly. So I think that's all that there is to say about the drone itself. We've already gone over this. So yeah, they will charge the batteries in parallel. I can see that it's still got the button here, so that means you can also use these as a power bank. So if you're out somewhere, you've already done all your flying and your phone is getting low on charge, you can connect a USB-C to here, connect it to your phone, press the button, and this should charge your phone up if there's sufficient charge still left in the batteries. So you can still retains that functionality. I have never used one of these motion controllers before. Okay, seems like similar sort of thing, USB-C. So you're going to charge the controller there. I'm not going to go into what all these things do. You can probably see some other videos on the internet, because this is basically meant to be an unboxing, not a full review. And the same thing with the goggles. You've got, looks like room for a card here. USB-C for charging. Again, I'm not going to say too much about this. The only thing I can say is I tried them at the store. The image looked really good to me, especially with glasses on, and they felt very comfortable. I was a little bit worried about that because I have seen people using them and it kind of looked awkward and heavy, but no, I can tell you, for me, they felt quite good. So I think that's that. I think that's probably covered everything in regard to the unboxing. And yeah, I hope that helps you make a decision whether this is the right thing for you. I know of a couple of other kits. So there is a kit with a controller that you use with your phone. So you'll get the drone, you'll get the transceiver, you get the batteries, and you get the controller without the screen. You need the phone. I'm not sure whether they have the one with the screen, the N2. I used the N2 with my older Neo, and it worked fine. Then you can just buy the drone by itself. You won't have the transceiver. You will have one battery. You will not have these extra batteries or the charging system. And there may even be other combos that I don't know about, because this is all fairly new, and I just had a quick glance. I decided to buy this to try it with the goggles. The original Neo I didn't want to because it had no obstacle avoidance, but because this has that, now I decided to get this kit. So yeah, I hope that helps. If you've got any questions or if there's anything you want to know, feel free to leave it in the comments and I will get back to you. And after I've used it for a little bit, or used it and I can tell you what my initial thoughts are, I'll do a second video on that. So thanks for watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.